Okay. Bear with me while I pull up my windows here. And of course, greetings everyone. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Want to remind everybody, hit that share, like, and subscribe button. If you're on Hecklebus, get over to El Perro and hit the share, like, and subscribe over there as well. And vice versa, if you're on El Perro, get over to Hecklebus and hit the like, share, and subscribe over there. There is a PayPal button pinned to the top for anybody that wants to share some love. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is that noun thing I keep telling everybody, that person, place, or thing. I am not a noun. I am not a who. I am a what. I am a verb. I am a verb. And so real quick, I want to say greetings to everybody, Moon, Peach, Special K, Steve, anybody else out there that I'm missing. My apologies for not mentioning names, but I don't always get all of them because of all the different platforms I'm streaming to. But welcome anyway. And the StreamYard link is down there for anybody that wants to join the stream. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. Oops. Let me pull something else up first. Oops. My apologies, folks. I thought I had everything ready. Okay, now let's try it. Okay. Everybody knows I like the King James Version of the Bible because it's the law of the land according to Public Law 97-280. And so we're going to start out with there is no respect of persons with God. This is Romans 2:11 through 16. For there is no respect of persons with God. For there is no respect of persons with God. The First Amendment says that Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion. So vice versa, the God of religion doesn't respect the persons. For as many as have sinned without law shall also perish without law. And as many have sinned in the law shall be judged by the law. For not the hearers of the law are just before God, but the doers of the law shall be justified. For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these, having not the law, are a law unto themselves. You guys comprehend that? For when the Gentiles, which have not the law, do by nature the things contained in the law, these, having not the law, are a law unto themselves, which shew the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the mean, while accusing or else excusing one another. Conscience also bearing witness, and their thoughts the mean while accusing or else excusing one another. Accusing or excusing. Accusing. In the day when God shall judge the secrets of men by Jesus Christ, according to my gospel. Let me check here real quick. Again, there's a StreamYard link in there if anybody wants to join. Welcome JLV and Psych Mobbing. And let's see if there's anybody anywhere else. Again, if I don't see you, you're on a platform I'm not able to reach at this point. But greetings and welcome. Thank you for coming. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And we're going to get on to the next part, which is a definition out of Black's Law, 4th edition. Now, this is what they use in the courts when they reach precedents and stuff. And that's why you'll see precedent case law in these definitions. This one here, and the premise of this, like I said, is Latin. And like I've said before, Latin in its original form was all uppercase. English in its original form was all lowercase. In its original form, the all lowercase was still just a congruence of multiple different languages thrown together with Latin suffixes and prefixes. That is what the English language is today, just a colorful language of multiple languages blended together. And this one here says it is called a, quote, condition, unquote, when something is given on an uncertain event which may or may not come into existence. It is a condition. It is called a condition when something is given on an uncertain event which may or may not come into existence. This uncertain event is mom in labor, bearing her young. It's uncertain when. And she gave a signature on an uncertain event. And that condition was the establishment of a person which may or may not come into existence. But as soon as they recorded it, that person came into existence as a structural foundation of an accounting, something that was accountable now. Okay. The next one, an unlawful condition is deemed as not annexed, not attached. So the unlawful condition of creating a person without somebody knowing and causing detriment to him is an unlawful condition. It was never annexed because it never came into existence in reality. It was never fully realized by the people that are actually operating it. It was only realized by the fictional corporate entity, and they were only administrating it and had no clue of how its process was actually supposed to go. This is proven because it's being administrated throughout the entire population. When the enumeration at birth, the unlawful condition, is applicable to the Department of Defense. 5 U.S.C. 301. The next one. A condition precedent, not the decedent, the precedent, must be fulfilled before the effect can follow. Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Before thou wast cast from the womb. And that structural foundation of the person was created. Even if it was a prenatal record that was structurally founded and then enumerated later, it doesn't matter. The process was not supposed to be the process effective that followed. The process effective as followed was that you were supposed to be a prophet. I sanctified thee. I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. That was the precedent. I hope you guys are catching on to this. It's very important to understand the common language and how simple it is when you can compare it to the scriptures. Condition. A future and uncertain event upon the happening of which, that's that enumeration at birth, is made to depend the existence of an obligation, of which is made, they made a record, and upon that record it depends the existence of an obligation, because that record is a bond, an obligation, and other securities of the United States, or that which subordinates the existence of liability under a contract to a certain future event. You cannot, this is impossible. An act of God can happen at any time, causing an unintended circumstances that would prevent something certified for future use. Is that making sense? Double check everybody real quick, and we got Special K up in the back. Greetings, Special K. Welcome.
Hi, brother. How you doing?
Good, good. Yourself?
I'm all right, man. Just coming in for the session, catching up. You know, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my court thing because I brought you up. I got another continuance, but I'll talk to you about that after you're
after we get done. Yeah.
Yeah, because everything all ties together. Everything you're saying is crazy.
Yep.
It all
Well,
ties
I saw you watch the one earlier with Carrie Zolman.
Yep.
And when you go in there and you act just like an idiot and do exactly as he says and do nothing but ask questions, then you've gone in there and made no claim, and they can't. That leaves them in the position of the one making all these false claims.
It's hard, man, dude.
So let's get on to the next one. The next one is I pulled up the term definition in etymology, and I want you guys to pay attention to what this means. It's very important, again, like I said, to do your research. Don't believe me. I'm going to go over this like I always do. I show my sources, but when you do your own research, you can go back in and you can look at the different terms and do your research on them. Like particular, you can find out what particular means. Well, we know it means part. What does icular mean? Or maybe it's par. So maybe look up ticular or icular. Look them up in etymology and see if there's an etymological origin for icular or ticular. So anyway, this one here is condition. It's a noun. Again, remember, I am not a who. I'm not a person. I'm not a place, and I'm not a thing. I am a what. I am something that is always moving.
Verb.
A verb. And it's mid-14th century condition, particular mode, as in model, as in mode, as in motive, as in motivation, as in mobile, as in move. Particular mode of being, now time, not future, but present. I have a habit of being in existence every second, every breath I take, of a person or thing. Now, this here says a person or thing, but as a noun, it could also be a place, particular mode, particular model of a thing, particular model of a building. This model is a 2-story single-family home. This model is a 1-story with a walkout basement. This model is a multifamily apartment unit. It could still be a conditional thing on a thing. So it's a place. So it's a person, place, or thing, which is a noun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a particular mode implying motivation, movement. Before I formed man of the dust, or when God formed man of the dust of the ground, he modeled him of the dust of the ground. He made him, made, of being. Also a requisite or prerequisite. A requisite, so once it's happened and it's been acquired, it can be required or prequired. A prerequisite, pre-required. A stipulation.
So
From
requisite or prerequisite, I know what a prerequisite is, but is it? It says a requisite or prerequisite. Is it the same thing?
A requisite is something that's required.
So, like, if you need a math class,
this would be pre-required.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Stipulation, state, behavior, social status. Okay, status as it relates to state, social state, particular mode of being. Are you happy? Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you upset? Your social state of being, social status, state, social behavior, the state of being. The being is Iowa State, the state of Iowa, of a person, place, or thing. Iowa is a noun. It's a person, place, or thing. It does not exist except in the paper. You can say you can go to Iowa and see Iowa all you want, but you're lying. What you see is the soil of the land that people call Iowa, and you cannot possibly see the border. Right? From medieval Latin conditionum, nominative conditio, properly conditio, agreement. So we have an agreement of being of a person, place, or thing. Stipulation, the external position. Situation, where do you sit? Where was it deposited? Where was it positioned? Situation, where does it sit? Rank, place, the placement, displaced, disposition, positioned, situation. Circumstances, where does it stand? Status and standing of persons. Of persons. Situation, condition, nature, manner. Funny how they use condition to define condition of things. situation, condition, nature, manner of things. From conditiare, to speak with, talk together, agree upon, to give a signature upon the instrument. You're not therefore liable for the person named in the instrument. The signature is something on, which is relative to the man, and it tells us that the person is in. It's situated in the document. The nature is a decedent. The manner is illicit. Illicit. It's sickening.
Oh, wow. That's a good one to remember.
In late Latin, consent, with sent. Assent, as sent.
Damn, that's crazy.
From assimilated of com, which means together. So con and com both mean together. Desire, to speak, with speaking. In beginning was the Word. I was sent with the Word of God, the living Word of the living God, as the living will of the very Father which art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. To show, also pronounce, solemnly, to show. Study to shew thyself worthy and approved. Classical Latin, conditio, was confused in late Latin with conditio. A making, like I said earlier, a making, particular mode, particularly made, of being, of a person, place, or thing. I was sent here ordained and sanctified unconditionally. You cannot place those conditions on me. I place conditions on the person. Get it? Past, to put together, a making, from conditius or conditus, past participle of condire, to put together. God put me together. Our Father which art in heaven, he knew us before he formed us in the belly. He's the one that put us together. That's the precedent. You can't make a condition upon something that was already precedent to be a prophet unto the nations by subjecting me as part of your nation. You cannot place me in there. You cannot situate me in there. I am not sitting anywhere. I have stances. I have motivation of being. Meaning rank or state with respect to ordered society, not chaos, is from late 14th century in English. From the notion of prerequisite comes the sense of a restricting or limiting circumstance. Personal character, a disposition. So when they place a condition on you, it's a disposition. Don't accept the conditions. What are those conditions? Do you know? Remember our last video? When they try to ask you, like, do you have a husband? That's a condition. They put a condition on there. You were sent to this world without a husband. What's a husband? The husband only applies to the person. Don't recognize the person. Don't respect the person. The husband is a noun. It's not a verb. Of like kind, image and likeness. He's a respecter of no persons. He's not an image. That's not an image and likeness. Greetings, Brooklyn, Tex. How you doing?
you hear me? I had to stop the video.
We hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the panel.
Hello.
Thank you. I just jumped on. I just saw that you were live. I don't even know what you're on yet, so I'm just gonna catch up.
Well, we were just talking about the deception before our eyes in how things are conditioned upon us when we're indoctrinated into school and we believe all of these nouns and preface it that it's us, as though we're a human or we're a man or we're the person or anything like that, when Scripture clearly tells us in Genesis 2:7, God formed man of the dust of the ground. And when he breathed the breath of life into his nostrils, man became a living soul. And the condition that was placed on us is at the enumeration at birth, that spell of illness I always talk about. 42 USC 1395X. They define it. And what happens is nobody places a memorial on the record to defeat the stipulations and conditions that they're trying to place, as if though you have to operate in this commercial venue, and you don't. You do not have to let them create a person for your use. You can wait and let that young one grow up and make his own decision if he wants to enter into that commercial world, just like the Amish do. They let their young ones go out at the age of 15 or whatever and enjoy the European world and lifestyle to determine for themselves if they want to return to the Amish life or start living an English life and a European life. So it's important to realize that, again, like I said earlier, the English language, the judge or magistrate or whatever that noun that guy wanted to go by, when he sat there on that bench and he asked me, do you understand English? And like I said, I'm the young man that walked around with all kinds of dictionaries when I was a little kid. And so I was proud of myself at that time when he asked me that question, and it just fucking dumbfounded me, and it was like disrespect. How dare you? And so I answered him vehemently. I said, yes. Little did I realize that upon my reflection later that night, I would come to be dumbfounded that no, I don't.
Man.
No, I don't, because when you look at the etymology, it really is not a true form of a language. It's a Babylonian text of multiple languages construed together with Latin prefixes and suffixes.
And it's crazy. The word condition, like to think that breaking that down, and we're all conditioned, breaking that own word down just blew my mind.
Yeah, you're conditioned to use nouns. What about all these pronouns that they're talking about?
Oh God, it's a mess.
He, we, they, she, all them. What about African American? Isn't that a pronoun? Wasn't that? That's been in use for decades. What about that? How come nobody threw their arms up about that?
Amen.
Because it's all insanity. Like the last video said, it's all insanity.
That lady, that 73-year-old lady, man, I give her so much credit. I was like choking up, man. Like,
yeah, from yesterday. Yeah.
I didn't really understand the whole line, and I was going to ask the whole line thing of what, like, where she can, like you were saying, they all have their own spot, and I never realized that, but she was really above all of them. But there was a line that you guys were talking about that she couldn't cross.
Yeah, the bar.
The bar. What is that?
That's the bar.
Okay.
That railing.
Okay.
You know what a rail is?
Okay.
A rail is a rule.
Is that? Oh.
What's a railroad? It's a rule road.
Okay.
Everything is a routing for a certain set of rules. If it follows this rail, that's the routing for these rules. If it follows this rule, that's the routing on this rail. So it's all.
Okay. That makes more sense now. I don't know if I missed that part, but.
Well, it's like I showed you with mode. It's mode, which is the same as model, which is same as made, which is same as make. It's motivation, your mode of travel. Your mode is what mode you're in. Your state of being. Like I said,
happiness,
I'm
sad.
a verb. So I'm always moving.
You're right. Right.
I'm a moving model. I'm a molecular model in motion.
What's the modem in the computer?
Exactly.
Ah,
It's
nice.
the thing that moves things. It's the thing that moves the information.
Nice. Yeah.
Exactly.
She
Very,
got me
very
so
good insight. Yep, good insight there. You got anything? We're gonna get ready to cut it out here, but you got anything else to say?
No, I mean I watch a video, and I was just watching one of the newer ones that they dropped with Patrick, and it was talking about turning the birth certificate over and that thing, and I wrote it in your in the comments in your last video, but it just ended when I was trying to ask the question, like
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's where you give your
directive.
directive. That's where you give your directive, and I explain that I don't. According to the way their code is written, you don't have to get it certified. It's already got 2 seals on it with 2 signatures. That's certified enough by the state, so it's already certified.
Right.
And they're the holders of it, and it proves that they held it. So if you turn it over and put your directive on there in the proper way of clearing the accounts, you're going to gather everything up as a directive on there and have them gather everything up from the state, all of your state records, insurance records, medical records, school records, employment records, tax records, all of them. Send them back to the Social Security Administration through the administrative law judge, because they work together, and he's part of the judicial office. So you're going to make a directive to have all that stuff gathered up, and that's under the title. That's what the birth certificate is. It's a title. So in that part of that directive, you're going to have them transfer that title to the United States. In that directive, there's going to be another directive for the United States to follow to settle and clear all accounts. Any remainder is going to be reverted back to the benefactor, and that is the transfer of the title to the Postal Service. And that's supposed to, those reversions, that's credit that's going to be put into your postal trust account. And now you've got something.
Has that ever happened before?
Say what?
Has that ever happened before? Have you ever seen
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. There are people that have created their own private law, which is the same thing. In the end, you're creating a trust and funding it privately, and it's administrated by yourself. It's executed by yourself. You name all the trustees and beneficiaries.
Right.
But this here is a process through the United States for somebody. I ain't got no money, no wealth, no nothing. But what I do have is a record of certain payments, fines, fees, penalties, things like that that I've paid in the past that I can get reverted back because they were never meant to be entered.
And the ancient document stuff, like I know people that got like that have the
and you can use
that's 30, 40 years old, still like in mint condition. Like
and those supersede and have an exception to the rule of hearsay. In other words, what it's saying is that it stood on the record long enough and nobody's rebutted it, that it's become its own law, even though it's now hearsay. And what it is a will and testament is written, and it passes property and stuff, but you call into question the ownership of the property. The will can be brought forth, even though it's 40 years old and the testator died 40 years ago.
Dead man can't tell. Right. Yeah.
Right. But you've got proof and evidence of his will and testament as an ancient document. It withstands the exception of hearsay.
Right.
The testator would be the person who was baptized. What if they're still alive?
No, in the case that they're dead.
Oh, okay.
The living will and testament, say he the will and testament was executed, and later on in life, 40 years later, somebody contested the property ownership because they couldn't find any title or anything. Well, the will and testament is the document that would bring it forth to show that it wasn't under title, it was under a grant of ownership in a trust, and therefore didn't need a title.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to mention real quick, at court, I ended up waiting a couple hours, so I got another continuance. And at the end, I asked about having an expert witness come on, and the clerk, I guess, laughed at the judge, and she goes, "We would have to do a bunch of searching on that person, and what kind of credits they have, what kind of experience they have, how many times they've been in court." And I'm like, okay, all right. My other question is, do I have to bring forth, say I have exhibits and I want to, even though it's in the law, in your own law, do I have to actually have those printed out for the plaintiff and you? And she goes, oh, absolutely. I don't memorize 800 million codes and statutes.
Yeah.
We have to have, so my mom's going to help me 10 days before, at least get those exhibits for the USC 50 or 50 USC 4035 2B, have that printed out at least so they could both have it. And so I'm not, just shut down and have a judgment put against me, even though it said mostly what I need to try to do is break or have them throw out the bill of sale. And from what I read, a contract has to have two names. And on this contract that was resold 3 times are not my name, and and the dates are off, and both the original creditor is not on the bill of sale. So therefore, I believe I can get that thrown out. But yeah, as far as, I did ask about that. She said I need to have copies for all. And my mom, she works for a law firm. So she's like, well, when does it need to be in? I will have it in by 2 weeks and let me know what you need. So,
Your mom works for a law firm?
Yes, for like 30 years.
Well, I don't advocate for dealing with those administrative courts at all. You know that. But
Right.
I'm going to wish you luck, only because your mom's it works with the attorney and stuff, and she might know something. But
yeah, my sister does well as patent law firms.
Again, pay attention, people. You are not subject to that law. You're not supposed to be entering that information. What you're doing is making claims on a record that's creating a liability.
But I can't just go in there and say it.
Yes, you better watch these 2 videos again.
She said they need the work. It's exculpatory evidence. Otherwise, that's what she claimed.
What is exculpatory evidence?
Of them not having the same same codes in
really?
front of
Did you know that? That's what you're going to make that claim?
Said. That's what the judge.
You're going to make that claim? What is exculpatory evidence?
To me, it's when the other.
You didn't listen to the last video, did you? You didn't listen to the last video, did you? What does he do?
Ask the question.
So I'm going to ask you again, Kay. What is exculpatory evidence?
I don't know. I guess I gotta rewatch it because
you come back with a question. What do you mean exculpatory? Come back with a question. What is exculpatory? You're not very good at this.
I'm not. I know, and I'm scared. She frightened me already. She laughed at me. She told me to shut up, stop interrupting her, and I muted myself and just laughed.
Okay. Ask me, what do I mean by exculpatory?
What do you mean by exculpatory?
Well, exculpatory is information that increases the defendant's probability of innocence or absolutely relieves them of liability. What's your response?
What is liability?
There you go. Now I've got to explain liability. So now I got to look up liability and let you know what term I'm using for liability. Then you get to ask another question. You don't have to make claims. And it's a great concept to just keep asking questions. I'm an idiot, Your Honor.
I might as well, because I'm not. I can't lose anything really.
Exactly.
I got nothing to lose, so
exactly.
All right. I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me.
I'm not. I'm just trying to, I'm passionate and trying to
I
explain
know.
this to you. I want you to get it.
I know,
Every
man.
time he poses something, ask him a question. Pick a word out and ask him, what do you mean liability? He's going to tell you the term liability. Pick a word out and ask him, what do you mean by this?
Framing it, treating it like back when we used to go on field trips, like we go in a museum. What's this? What's that? What's this?
But she's a beast, dude. She was like, you. If I don't have anything,
I don't care. All you got to do is ask a question. She can't make you answer her question. She has to answer yours.
Yeah, but when she was like, "You expect me to memorize 8 million?" No, you need to have.
No, do you expect me to memorize them? And I'm not even learned of the law.
I said it's already in your law book, and she started.
Am I learned of the law? Your Honor, am I learned of the law? No. Am I expected to know the law like you? No.
And she's going to say, no, you should
have had a lawyer. Asking questions, and the more questions you ask, the better you get at it, and the better questions you ask, and you fucking stump them just like that.
All right. Well, I got another month. It's August 1st now, so.
Yeah. Well, like I said, practice questions.
Yeah.
Go through that documentation and start writing down questions. So you got all kinds of questions already preloaded. What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? Because they didn't put any of those definitions out there for you. Ask them. And then every time they give you an answer.
When I was asking,
what do you mean by this?
In there, she was like laughing at me. She was like, that's why you should have gotten an attorney. You've made the mistake for representing yourself. I was like, ma'am, I'm presenting myself.
Yeah, and that's why you got to quit listening to a lot of these people and going into them courts. I've been telling people this for 7 years. Do not go into them courts. So think about it. Start learning how to ask questions.
Okay. Thanks, Wizard.
Do nothing but ask questions. The more questions you ask, the more you're going to learn. And that's the knowledge you need for the experience so you can gain the wisdom. That's the true benefit.
My mom always said, ask questions. Don't be afraid. Yeah, you're right.
You do the same thing in a, say like in a personal injury situation where you're the plaintiff or the injured party. Would you like, how could you handle it outside of the court, or is that a separate kind of thing?
It depends, I guess, if they want to make. I mean, you're talking like a car accident, or
like say someone slipped and fell in a wet hallway, in a hallway that was wet and no signs are up, and they got injured and they want to make a claim against the building or the super or whoever was negligent. How would one handle that situation outside of? Would you still go through the getting an attorney and go to court, or is there a way to do that outside of court? Or
yeah, you do that outside of court. You've got ability to make a promissory note. See, the government poses that they're the only ones that can do this shit, and that's false. You have unlimited power of contracting, period. Period. If you have the unlimited power of contracting by placing conditions on things, then start placing them on those things when they happen. But again, don't do that unless you know how to place those conditions. And the best way to learn how to place those conditions on there is asking questions. I've been asking questions for 7 years. I know how to place the condition on contracts. Customer agrees to make third-party payment so long as it's understood that the customer is given, or credit is given to the customer's account. That's a condition. Now you fix the question of who's making the payment where. And you get the power to do that, and there's nothing they can do about it. They can't supersede you. You're the one they need. Without you, they have no paperwork to put out. They need you to apply. So if you do, make sure you know how to put the coin your words or purse your lips. because otherwise they're going to take everything from you and leave you dry.
Right. But I have nothing to take. Like my mom wrote me a promissory note to pay back the taxes for my boyfriend's house that I helped pay. She loaned $1,000. So she typed it out, a promissory note, and I signed it. I said, Mom, you know I'm in legal battle right now with the courts for creditors, right? So really I have no assets. I have nothing to take. So if I don't have a job by then, you know I'm not gonna be able to pay you. She's like, I know, I'll just put it on the tab.
But that promissory note is an asset. She can sell that.
I don't think she knows it. Shit.
Exactly.
Really?
So you can tell the defendant that you will accept a promissory note and then handle a promissory note accordingly.
Yep.
She could send it to another debt collector.
Or you can just ask them what they mean by debt.
Dude, you're fucking genius, man.
I
know.
Easy. Listen to the last video and pay attention. It is all insanity. None of it's real. None of it applies. I've been telling people this for 7 years. I hope people will start paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
I also
not comprehending all of it.
I also did the video the other night on the bench warrant.
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Remember? Yeah, go back and watch that bench warrant one. You'll see how I pulled it up. It's their record. They're the ones that say there's no charges, no long title, no bond, no finances. Yet they put a title on it. They placed a bond on it, sent out a bench warrant.
Nothing happened, right? I mean,
well, no, I sent them a nice little notice warning them of kidnapping.
That way, so you have documentation that you're backing your ass up in case they come. Yep. You always say that too. I know you always back yourself up in case anything comes along.
And then I posted it on my site when they ignored me.
Wow.
So that's Matthew 18 verses 15 through 17. I did the first process, second process, and now if they ever want to come at me, all I got to do is slice them up. I'm sorry, I got a final judgment right here, and you can't beat it because you already acquiesced twice, and now you have to prove every element.
A final judgment against you?
Huh?
A final judgment against you?
No, I placed the final judgment.
I gotta watch it. Okay.
I've already declared a judgment. I already made a summary of the judgment, and now if they come back, I make a final judgment.
You're using their fucking...
It's the administrative process that they developed on Matthew 18, verses 15 through 20. They developed the administrative process on that. Wow. That is a prerequisite to their requisite.
Okay.
That was precedent to their establishing of the administrative process.
Okay. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. You are passionate, I'll tell you that. I got a lot to learn, but I won't give up. And that lady blew my mind. She was something else, man. For her to be in there 13 days, God bless her for standing on her rights, man.
Yep. It takes balls. It takes balls.
Amen.
All right. Well, Brooklyn, Texas.
Thank you, man. I've been sharing that video too. Like since that one and like a couple of people I've been talking to, I've been sharing these out, man. I appreciate your work.
You bet. And I appreciate you doing that because that's how this channel and Hecklebus and everything's going to survive and prosper and bring this information to everybody out.
And you post on Facebook too as well.
Yeah. I
gotta get you on Facebook because I got a lot of more people on there. I got like no friends on here, but I'll share from Facebook. That way, you know.
Yeah. And that's the only way we're going to be able to prosper in this and get the information out there. And again, it relates to you feed a man for a day if you give him a fish. You feed him for a lifetime if you teach him to fish. But the true aspect is to teach him how to teach it when he's done.
Amen.
Okay. And that can only be from experience. So you really got to learn how to start riding that bike. Quit trying to learn how to ride a unicycle before you learn how to ride a bike.
That's a good one. Really, I know. I heard those are really hard to fucking ride.
All right. Well, folks, again, thank you. God bless.
God bless you guys. Much love.
Thank you. And remember, I love you. but I don't give a fuck whether you love me back.
I
got
love
me
you
there
back,
doing this shit.
motherfucker.
Okay.
All right.
Take
Have a
care.
good night, everybody.
Peace.